Hey everyone, hope all is well. My name is Braden and I'm with the Academicx team. Purpose of today's video is to do an honest review between our in-house AI detector at Academicx to that of Turnitin's mainstream AI detector, which you should be seeing used at most high schools and universities across the world right now. To conduct this demonstration and make it fair, I have 28 completely random documents in front of me, all of which I have found online on a variety of different subjects. And previously they had 0% AI, but to make things interesting, I have actually added them to ChatGPT, and anything you see highlighted in red throughout the video in these comparisons is definite AI added by ChatGPT. Purpose of that being to see how Academicx detects AI and how Turnitin detects AI. I'm only going to pick about 6 or 7 of these documents just to make things, just so I don't drag things on too long, and you'll get the idea by the end of the video, I'm sure. That said, let's get started and see which one's more accurate or if they're more or less the same. All right, let's get started. So again, 28 completely random documents here. I'm going to pick one at random. Again, I'm just probably going to do 6 or 7. I'll leave timestamps throughout the video so you can kind of reference all of them and get an idea of where each document's at. If you don't want to watch the entire thing, no worries about that. I'll start off with this document, document 19. I'm going to drag it to the browser just so we can kind of see what it's about. And again, just to reiterate, anything highlighted here in red is considered, well, it is definite AI that has been added by ChatGPT, and then all this black is just what the essay originally had. So as we can see, a few thousand words. I'm going to go on now to submit this to Academicx. This one was 19 and AI detection, and then I'll go on to submit it to Turnitin. And I will clip to a side-by-side after both are completely uploaded. All right, so this is the first document, and it already looks like we're off to a good start. On the academic side, it appears that it detected it as 53% AI, where Turnitin detected about 48% AI. One thing I will note, and something you might want to keep in the back of your head, is that we also have an additional feature here at the bottom, which shows the estimated Turnitin AI score. In this case, the range was between 44 and 58%. Turnitin fell within that 48% range. That's a pretty nifty thing to know. How do you want to submit your document to Turnitin, but you wanted an approximate range before doing so that you could ensure that you were safe. That said, let's get into the sentence structure between both documents. It looks like the document is about 27, 28 pages though, so I'm going to go through this relatively quickly and I'll just point out any discrepancies that I see or any similarities that I see as well. So more or less the same here. Same. Essentially the same. Same again, basically almost one-to-one with the exception of these two sentences right here. Scroll down even further. Legitimately essentially the same as well with the exception of these two bullet points. I'll scroll down even more. Basically the same thing again here. That's great. And yeah, so this document appears to be very accurate, almost one-to-one. To save time, I think I'm only gonna go down to like page 10, and we'll just see how both square up to one another. Again, more or less the same. However, we detected a little bit more here, whereas Turn did not detect these bottom three paragraphs. And here, it looks like we detected a little more. However, it is somewhat similar, just with the exception of this one paragraph and this one sentence here. And onto the 10th page, virtually the same with the exception of the first few sentences here, whereas Turnitin did not detect this. So that's the first document. Things are looking pretty good. Let's go on to the second document and then see how they compare. All right, so same process as last time. Let's pick a random document. Let's do lucky number 4. On the browser here, as you can see, this essay seems to be somewhat argumentative, something with regard to religious critique. As you can see, about 11 pages long, AI has been scattered throughout, at least a few thousand words, and there also is references. Same drill as last time, I'm going to go ahead and upload both to Academicx, and then after, I'm going to upload it to Turnitin, and then I'll be back once that is complete. We are back, and this is our second document comparison, and this is actually an interesting one, and I'll explain why in a second, but you can see here, something's a little off, and it's not providing a number, but I'll explain why that is. But first, let's look at the Academicx report. So here, we had clocked this essay as being 9% AI content, with an estimated Turnitin AI score being in between 0 and 19%. This actually checks out, and here's why. When Turnitin detects a document as being less than 20% AI, they don't want to risk false positives. So what they do is they provide these two characters because obviously you wouldn't want to implicate a student who isn't using AI. And at these lower numbers, there's a lot higher of a likelihood of doing so. So that essentially explains why if I scroll through here, there aren't going to be any highlights, but we still get an opportunity to look at how Academicx performed in highlighting some of the obvious AI that was throughout this document. So let's start here, nothing up here. And again, if you're skipping ahead, the red text is AI, and it seems here that we had detected this entire paragraph, which is AI, which is great. Here, another AI paragraph, about 2/3 of it was detected. And here as well, 2/3, so that the large majority of this has been detected. And it seems like the AI here is few and far between, but we can still see what it highlighted. And again, entire paragraph, completely AI, this was also detected. Scroll down, references, nothing of importance, and that was that. I'm glad I got a document like this because I get to explain what exactly this means, just so if it happens again, you kind of understand and aren't confused. Let's move on to the third. All right, so we are on to the third document. To make things fun, let's take the difference between 19 and 4, so we'll go ahead and pick 15. This document is questioning something, obviously some sort of essay here. There's a lot more AI spread throughout, so I'm curious to see what happens here with regard to the detection scores between both. But again, you already know the drill. We're going to go ahead and upload it to Academicx, and then after that, we'll go ahead and upload it to Turnitin, and I'll be back right after. We are back, and it appears that the document that we had just uploaded to both Academicx and Turnitin seem to be very similar in what they detect as AI content. Looking at the Academicx report, we had clocked this document as being 40% AI content, with an anticipated Turnitin score of being 26 or 50%, somewhere in between that number. Not only did that score fall between that number, it actually almost matched our detection score perfectly with a 2% margin of error. One thing to mention is that what Turnitin classifies as a sentence can vary differently, and they're very strict. So where we could have detected 184 sentences, they might have done 183, therefore resulting in the discrepancy between the two percentages. That said, let's go ahead and look at the highlights now. As you can see, this obvious AI content was picked up by us and Turnitin. Turnitin, however, did seem to miss the first sentence of this paragraph. On the second page, similar, as you can see here, Turnitin detected all this, and we did as well, with the exception of this paragraph, which actually was not AI. On to the next. As we can see here, same situation. Turnitin detected both. Turnitin detected both. We had missed this bottom sentence, although we did highlight it as 52% likelihood of being AI. On to the next. A lot more of the same. Yep. Let's go down even further. This sentence highlighted, and this last paragraph in essentially its entirety, with the exception of the sources, has also been highlighted. So this was a pretty successful comparison, and I'm curious to see what happens on the next document. So I'll see you then. All right, so we're moving through these fast. Let's go on to the next document. And this one, I'm going to pick document, let's do 22. As we can see here, factory flow benchmarking report. In this case, there was an extensive amount of AI added to the existing essays. So I'm curious to see if both of them are going to catch it at 100% or at least 75% plus. I guess we'll have to see. So again, I don't even have to tell you guys. I'm going to go ahead and upload this document to Academicx, and then I'll go ahead and do the same thing on Turnitin, and we'll be back right after. This is that fourth document, and I might have been over exaggerating earlier. Apparently there was a lot less AI detected here, although it did catch all the AI paragraphs. I thought there was a lot more in the original document. Nonetheless, let's look at the Academicx report first. As always, we caught it at 54% AI content, with an estimated Turnitin AI score of being in between 42 and 62%. This document so far has been off by the most, if you consider it the most, 9% to be particular, but it did still fall in between that range, which would have been useful knowledge had you wanted to submit it before turning it into your professor. Anyways, let's look at what they both detected. It appears that there is a large congregation of AI at the start, and I'm sure that's going to be the trend throughout. So let's go ahead and scroll down. First page, all considered AI, checks out. Second page, all AI, checks out. On to the next page, AI, perfect. Although Turnitin seems to have missed these two sentences. But again, what Turnitin clarifies as a sentence can be very specific, so they are going to miss some, while we might catch them, or vice versa. Again here, cool, 1-to-1 on that sentence as well. Uh, this was caught in most part, except for it looks like 3 sentences within this paragraph, whereas we caught the entire thing. However, we did highlight the first one at its 81%, and 100 down the list. And yeah, those are the references. So that has been the, what is it, fourth document? So let's go into the fifth. All right, so for this fifth one, let's just go ahead and rapid fire number 11. This one is about, um, looks like just some individual, maybe their biography. As we can see, AI content has been spread throughout. There's some block quotes as well, and some references, or one reference at the end. So I'm just gonna go ahead and upload this to Academicx, and then I'm gonna do the same for Turnitin, and I'll see you after. And again, I just like to show this entire process just so you guys get to see that I am in fact uploading the same document to both detectors just to make things completely fair and authentic. This is that fifth document, and in a side-by-side comparison, we can see that the Academicx AI report came in at 34% AI content detected, with an estimated Turnitin AI score being in between 26 and 38%. Now, looking at the Turnitin report, it appears that this document came in at 29%, falling within that range for now the fifth time in a row, although the percentages were different. But again, as I explained, what Turnitin clarifies as a sentence is often going to differ from what we clarify as a sentence, as they are very specific, so we might miss a few. Nonetheless, this is a very close report. So let's go ahead and look through and see the sentences that were highlighted and the ones that were not. So these first two paragraphs here that were definite AI, we can see here that they were in fact highlighted. Same with this bottom one here. This gap was not highlighted. This paragraph was not highlighted as AI, although it was AI. Um, it does seem like it's sort of citing sourcing something, so that might be why. A little further down, we can see that we detected something here they did not hear. And moving on, these two paragraphs were for the most part highlighted, with the exception of the last two or three paragraphs of this paragraph, right, or sorry, the last two or three sentences of this paragraph right here. Let's go down to the next page. Again, pretty one-to-one on this. Yep. Um, and to the last, we can see that this document was detected, or sorry, this paragraph was detected, and this paragraph was also detected on Turnitin. So I think you guys are getting the idea. I think we should do about two more. So I guess we'll see you guys in the sixth document. On to the sixth document. Same situation. Let's just rapid fire a document. This one is on politics, obviously about prior president of the US. AI has been scattered throughout. Block quotes again. Blah, blah, blah. A few different citations. And yeah, so this document appears to be at least 1,500, 2,000 words. So let's go ahead and submit it to Academicx and turn it in. And once we do that, we'll see what they look like side by side. Here we are, and in a side-by-side comparison, we can see that to start on the Academicx report, we had detected this document as being 16% AI content with 113 total sentences, with an anticipated Turnitin AI score of in between 0 and 19%. To quickly reiterate, this is actually an accurate range because Turnitin only gives the asterisk and percentage symbols here when the document is detected as having less than 20% AI content. Obviously, Turnitin does not want to implicate students who aren't using AI, and it is a lot more likely that they do so in these lower percentages, as there might be a higher likelihood of, say, false positives, for example. So, unfortunately, if you're skipping ahead, just to quickly explain, you aren't going to see any AI highlights here, but we can still look at what Academicx highlighted. Obviously, this document was still pretty close with regard to accuracy on first glance. So as we can see here, this paragraph wasn't highlighted, nor was this one, which is surprising, although these do appear to be block quotes or something of that regard. So that might explain why that is. Moving down, we can see that this entire paragraph was highlighted as AI. Same here, high likelihood of AI, as seen in the purple. Um, Higher likelihood of AI, although this does not appear to actually be AI. This paragraph was detected as AI, 87%. Scrolling down, 38, 72, detected as AI in this short paragraph as well. AI. And these three were not detected as AI either. Same with this one, same with this one, same with this one. Same with this one, and this one did get detected, but these three did get detected. So it seems pretty scattered throughout, but regardless of what we highlighted versus Turnitin, we can still see that our detector was quite accurate in comparison, because again, this is lower than 20%, and our anticipated score was in between 0 and 19%, so that checks out. We could have been within 10% or 5%, we don't really know, but we can assume that this was a pretty accurate document. So let's go on to that last document and see what happens. And now for the final document, we'll just select one of these again. I think I had promised that I was going to upload like 6 or 7 documents and analyze them. I'm just going to go ahead and go with the latter. We'll do 7. And again, if you want to check this detector out and see how accurate it is, based on this review, you can also do your own testing. You can go to Academi.cx. So let's just go ahead and do number 25. This one is on the early history of Britain. Appears to be some sort of essay. Um, a lot of AI in this one, so this should be a good example, I'm hoping. And it goes on and on and on, at least a few thousand words. So this is a pretty decent document. We'll see how this turns out in both reports. So upload 25, AI, resubmit, confirm, browse your device, 25, and I'll see you when they're uploaded. All right, so with this last document, things are already looking pretty good. As we can see, the AI percentage was quite similar in both, but let's look at the Academicx report first. 83% AI content detected within this document, with an anticipated Turnitin AI score being in between 76 and 91%. It did seem to fall into that report, just a little below the halfway mark, but again, the percentage here was quite accurate, just 1% difference. Let's go ahead and scroll down on both documents and see how they look. So as we can see here, the red is the confirmed AI, just for anyone watching or if you skipped ahead. In this case, Turnitin and Academicx detected it. Same here, and same here, and same here, and same here. And there is a lot of AI in this document, so it seems like both are doing pretty well. Same here, and then same here, although Turnitin did believe or think that this portion was considered AI, although it doesn't appear to be. Scrolling down, we can see that basically a one-to-one again, with the exception of this first sentence for us. More. Pretty much the same, although this paragraph was not highlighted. On to this one, same. I'm trying to go fast because this document is a little bit long, it appears. More or less the same, although this paragraph wasn't highlighted by Turnitin, but it was by us. And again, I've reiterated it about 100 times, but the Turnitin sentence structure, or what they qualify as a sentence, is very specific. So it's going to be hard to get one-to-one with Turnitin. And we'd never claim that we are exactly one-to-one, but we are extremely accurate and extremely competitive with other detectors. So let's, on that note, let's just keep scrolling down here. So everything looks pretty much the same. Although I will note that this wasn't detected by Turnitin, but we did detect this paragraph as AI, although it did detect the bottom half of it. And that's it. So that is that last document. I'm pretty happy with the 7 that we have submitted so far. And yeah, and that's the video. If you made it this far and you watched all the way through, I really appreciate it. If you skipped through, there's no worries there. I am going to leave timestamps for every document that I had uploaded. Apart from that, if you would like to put this detector through more stringent testing on your own time, you are free to do so at Academi.cx. Additionally, maybe if you want to see how I source these documents and randomly added AI to them, I can do that as well, just to be completely transparent. Or maybe more interestingly, I can compare our AI detector to that of other AI detectors that are on the market right now, so that we can kind of prove that we are actually very competitive, particularly with our accuracy to mainstream AI detectors like Turnitin. You can also see all of our social media links in the bio of this video. If you have questions, you can go to our FAQ. There's just some general stuff here. But if you have something that isn't answered here, you can always open up our live chat and talk to either myself or Logan, and we can get you situated. Thanks again for watching, and have a great rest of your day.